Hey, so this video is replacing the fork seals on a Triumph Speed Triple R. In order to take the forks off, we're gonna have to remove the wheel. In order to remove the wheel, you gotta remove the calipers. If you have ABS, you gotta remove the ABS sensor. It's just this Torx bolt here. We got some Allen sockets to get the caliper bolts off. You have to take the front fender off, not to get the wheel out, but you need to take the front fender off to get the fork tubes out because it's holding them together, just more Allen bolts. And then you got the lower triple tree and the top triple tree to loosen. And you want it on a stand. This stand was sufficient enough that once the wheel was removed, you can pull the tubes out and drop them and take them off. All right, Ruben here. I got my Ohlins fork leg off of a Triumph Speed Triple. I bought this fancy tool from Laser. Let's see how well it works. My buddy was actually gonna do the fork seals for me. You know, I always can use help with maintaining motorcycles. He tried using this tool right here and he couldn't get the top cap loose, started deforming the little holes, the nubs, you know, just using two. He gave me the job back, so I bought this, and I was able to use all 8 pins to loosen that upper assembly. And this one has 8 pins that all engage. Okay, I got the fork slipping. Ooh, that smells terrible. All right, check this out. It'll make you guys cringe. Works like a charm. Letting it drain out. So I got these Nipix pliers. So you have a nut in between these guys. You can pull this down and try to grip it with a wrench. That's kind of hard for one person to do. So what I found is this can go over and grip it on the correct setting and in the correct orientation. So now I can grip it there and take my 17mm and hopefully loosen. There we go. So now I'm loosening the cap. I can get rid of that and keep on going. So that makes it a little bit easy. There's the dampening rod. So it looks like. Now it's off. A little bit of spring pressure, I imagine. Oh, it's still held in place with that nut, so. Now I believe I can just pull it straight out. I'm gonna reorient the fork. I have it in like a bicycle mount. Oh shit, don't let it fall out though. Hold the bottom of the fork because at this point it'll just slide out. And there you go. Now we have the full bottom. Put this in a safe spot in the lower fork tube. Shouldn't have to deal with it anymore other than putting it back in. Okay, so we got Triumph factory fork seals. You can pause that there. Should do a set. So you got your seal protector and then your fork seal right here. Taking a little snap ring in. There, that's out. Put a little grease in here. It'll help the seal go in. Shouldn't affect the fork. Do the outside and the inside. Do have, these are fork seal installers. The washer is back in here, by the way. I put it smooth side up in this position, which is towards the seal. Yep. Looks like we're fully seated. Clean this up a little bit. Make sure your snap ring's all the way in. So I'm checking out this old dust seal. And I don't know if this was a cheap aftermarket replacement, but it does look visually different than the OEM one with the little spring on the end. Put some grease around it and on the inside for when the sanction goes back in, or the fork tube, the inner fork tube. Take a little bit off there. A little tighter fit than I expected, but I think we're in. And that's the fork seal part. Then we got to get the fork tube in there without damaging anything. And then I feel like the hard part on these has always been filling them with oil. Just takes a little bit, you know, a little bit more time measuring out oil. Can be messy if you spill it. I got the lower tube. Trying to just make sure the stamper doesn't fall out. I guess I could probably take it out and then put it in later, but I'm not. Make sure it's somewhat level. Got it through that one. I can feel it trying to go through the seal. There we go, now we're through. Now we're probably through both bushings. Another helpful tool I got is this fork oil level gauge. Got it off, I don't know, eBay or Amazon, I don't remember. But hopefully it'll allow me to add fluid in here and then take it out until I get to the correct level. Okay, it looks like I'm supposed to fill this to 90 millimeters without the spring. I'm a little upset because I have to take the spring out. Try to keep all the parts from flying. spring is loose. Oh. Spring's not too big. Need to find a clean spot to put this. There it is at the top. Looks like I didn't get all the fluid out, so I'm gonna go tip it upside down under my bucket. Oops. Buck came out the top. Don't think it's this full. Yeah, I don't know if full enough. Back. Just make sure it's clean. It is bringing some out. You can see that. Alright, now that's all air, so it should be at the correct level. Cool. Jeez. Look at that. Okay, well, not sure this is good. I mean, a good way to do this. Okay. So weird. Alright, so I stuck a pick underneath the snap ring right there, the retainer, and was able to hold it up while I hand tighten that nut on the top. So that seemed to have done it. Looks like it's tightening without moving, otherwise I'll put my finger here. I believe it was just all the way down, so that's where I'm going to take it. Oh, let's look at the how many threads there are. This looks like a few, 3 or 4. Looks like you tighten this all the way down, then you use that nut as a lock nut. So I think the other one we did fine. Okay, it just starts slipping at the end. So I think it's like a jam nut, so I'm gonna do that. I don't know, maybe I should have taken better notes. Okay, now I'm gripping that inner nut. I'm gonna tighten this. I don't think you need to make this thing so tight. There we go, we got fluid in there. It doesn't look like it's leaking. I mean, it's wet, but it doesn't look like it's leaking. Oh, I wasn't looking at the camera, but there you go. I'll clean it up a little bit more. I'm gonna move on to the next one. So one thing I want to mention while I was doing these forks right here, if you take out the damper rod or the dampening adjustment rod, the plunger has a spring underneath it. When I was getting the air out of the damper assembly, it forced the plunger out, and then when I was tipping the oil into the bucket, the spring fell out also. So I found that spring luckily. You know, I kind of realized when I put the damper rod back in that it didn't have any spring, and I knew it was there. So then I checked the oil and found it, and now she's ready to ride. Can't wait. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Now we're ready to ride. Do some wheelies. If you like these videos like this, you gotta stay tuned. I got something cooking. It's gonna be awesome. We got a 2008 Volvo XC90. I bought some V70R Brembo brakes for it, and I'm gonna do a conversion. And that vehicle might sound a little dumb because that vehicle's got 208,000 miles on it, but it runs good. Used cars are expensive. Cars are expensive. The brakes are, you know, so-so on it. I want it to stop on a dime. All right, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully I can get that together and edited in the next, I don't know, maybe 6 months.